Roylo Goles.
Maraming salamat, MC Gales, MDA. Magkausap kami noon about some project of MDA with Chairman Francis Tolentino. Ang ating host ngayong hapon ito, Don D. Valdez. You know, when you were talking, I was watching your mom, Nini Valdez. She was beaming with pride. Wow, motherly pride. Masaya, wala rito si Amboy para kasama din siya, para mag-cheering squad para sa iyo. And you really delivered a very inspiring message, Don D. Sa iba pong mga VIPs na nandito, of course, my colleague in the House of Representatives, Congressman Olivares, Edwin Olivares in the 1st District. The MMDA personalities are here, Undersecretary Cabanilla, Attorney Ruaro, who's a kababayan natin sa Parañaque, taga Better Living, one of the leaders in Better Living. Si Mr. Cortez of MMDA. Ang ibang mga VIPs na nandito, we have 3 barangay captains who are here. The barangay captain of San Isidro, Kapitan Haplos. The barangay captain of Santo Niño, Kapitan De Leon. And the barangay captain of San Antonio, sa aking distrito, Kapitan Asale. At iba pang mga barangay na nandito, mga eskwelahan, the other officials who are here, stakeholders, organizations, etc., etc. Hindi ko na mapanggitin yung lahat, napangkit na sila. First of all, I would like to congratulate the MMDA for initiating what I consider a very timely initiative, which is the Flood Control Bayanihan Zone Alliance. This is indeed very timely. And I was asking Mr. Cortez earlier, is this something that is being done also in the other communities and in the other cities and towns? And he said yes, because I think we all know that flood waters do not respect political boundaries. Walang ginagalang na political boundaries yan. And I remember, during the Ondoy, kung matitrace mo lang yung tubig na nag-accumulate at power sa sukat, and if you can trace that, I'm sure you will find some water coming from Muntinlupa, coming from other places. And if you look at the totality of the big flood that happened in Ondoy, a lot of that water came from the mountains of the Sierra Madre, the Montalban area, and some were yung tinatawag na backflow galing sa Laguna itself. I remember I delivered a speech in the House of Representatives during the hearing on the budget of the MMDA. Noong panahon na yun, matalik kong kaibigan yung chairman ng MMDA, Bayani Fernando. And I confronted him about the way that he managed the Mangahan spillway. And I thought that there was a big error committed in the implementation of the water protocol in the Mangahan spillway because of the way they control the floodgates. It was a very long technical discussion during my interpellation of the budget of the MMDA, and I confronted him and I even blamed him for making a very judgmental error, a very wrong judgment on how to control the floodgates, because number one, he dismissed and removed the head of the Mangahan flood control system, EPCOS. I remember the name, Engineer Kiambao. And this led to a series of errors that, in my opinion, and the opinion of a lot of experts in the MMDA, aggravated the problem. And I'm very sure that now, under the leadership of Chairman Francis Tolentino, we are going to see a different philosophy on this. Sigurado ko, one of those who will be monitoring is Councilor Eric Olivares, kasi affected yung lugar niya. Alam mo, Kapitan Haplos, nung nag-Ondoy, andun ako sa lugar mo. I was there in the inauguration of the office of the Philippine National Red Cross, which is located in your barangay. And at that time, the just starting. And we thought that these were just ordinary heavy rains. Pero bago matapos yung programa namin, biglang may tubig na pala sa harapan ng Philippine National Red Cross at na-stranded na kami. And I saw the water rising gradually. Alam mo, Edwin, bagong-bago yung kotse ko, nakapark doon sa harapan ng Red Cross. Paakit ang tubig, sabi ko, nako, mukhang maliligo yung bago kong kotse dito sa sukat. Papunta na lang, umabot na lang ang pulso, that was the time na tumigil yung tubig, kaya nag-receive na naman. And it's amazing because you can see the water rise so quickly. But at the same time, it would recede very quickly also. Hindi naman nagtatagal. Parang sa lababo, na pag malakas ang buhos ng tubig, maliit siyempre yung butas ng lababo, magpa-flood yung lababo. Pero after you shut off the water, immediately it would recede. And I think that's a story in most parts of Parañaque, especially in many parts of my district. You know, ang problema ng flooding has become a real problem. I remember during my first 3 terms, there was an initiative, and I don't know if the MMDA is aware of this, of Project NOAA. This is an effort to interconnect the efforts of various cities and municipalities in Metro Manila. Again, on the theory, and this is what I emphasized earlier, on the theory and assumption that the floodwaters do not respect political boundaries and the waters commingle, Pasay, Makati, and then Parañaque, yung Project NOAA. But of course, it was a gargantuan undertaking. It hardly took off because of the very large budgetary requirement. On my part, I remember also that I undertook what was considered at that time as one of the largest Parañaque River dredging program. It entailed the amount of about 120 billion pesos, quite a big amount, considering that time. This was more than 10 years ago. There was a giant dredger right there in the La Huerta, Santo Niño area, and it cleaned up a lot of desiltation there, a lot of the garbage doon sa baba. Tapos napansin ng mga taga-ilog na parang may isda na pumapasok na. And you know, whenever I visit the Parañaque River area, natutuwa ako pag meron mga ibon na dumadaan doon. Pag ibon, ibig sabihin, meron isda, nabubuhay na yung ilog, and that's good news. Ngayon, in my district, I would like to emphasize that this has been one of my priorities also. In fact, since I became a congressman again in 2004, I have undertaken about 31 desilting and repropping projects in the 2nd district. And since last year, July last year, a total of 9 repropping and desilting projects have been undertaken. And right now, there are 3 ongoing repropping projects, quite significant, in the total amount of 45 million pesos. Yung mga katulad ng mga waterways like yung Sapang Buaya, yung Villanueva Creek, yung Donggalo River, etc., etc. Yan yung madalas na maging object of this repropping and dredging and siltation projects. Kanina, marami nagreklamo. Natapos na yung repropping, natapos ang desilting, pero andun pa rin. Because what we have here is a giant, ang tawag ng mga engineers normally dito, is what they call the Diggers and Fillers Club. You dig, man will dig, but nature will fill it up with all kinds of siltation again. Kaya it is a continuing effort. You can talk of 10 million, I can talk of 45 million, but then after 2 or 3 years, balik na naman sa dati. And I agree with Congressman Edwin Olivares in his statement that indeed there must be a community effort here. That is very important. Matinding problema nito. Kanina na-mention yung climate change. The first time that I really encountered the immensity of climate change as propounded by the experts worldwide was when I had the privilege of listening in person to the presentation of Vice President Albert Gore. I was one of those invited by Ambassador Yurchenko. in the Yurchenko Center when Mr. Gore made this presentation in February 2006. It was a very scary scenario. You know, he said that because of global warming, the waters in the coastal areas, the waters of the sea, will rise. And it will prejudice and jeopardize and even endanger the coastal areas of the whole world. And he mentioned the coastal areas in the Philippines, particularly in the Manila Bay area. And according to Mr. Gore, if nothing is done about it, we are going to witness the displacement of maybe about a few million Filipinos in the coastal areas, some of them in the Manila Bay area. Of course, pag sinabi natin Manila Bay, kasama ang Parañaque dyan, kasama Manila, kasama ang Bataan, kasama ang Cavite, kasama ang Pampanga, kasama ang Bulacan. And that is the reason why I decided to file a bill. This is the climate change bill. I worked on this, and this went through a lot of debate, not only in the House, but also in the Bicameral Conference Committee, and very fortunately, this was passed. This is the Climate Change Act of 2009. I have the privilege of being the principal author of this in the House of Representatives, Senator Legarda in the Senate. So now, there is this undertaking. And I'm so happy na maraming nagre-respond rito. Halimbawa, meron tayong kawal ng kalikasan. Sa inyo pong lugar, Kapitan Haplos, nagsimula itong kawal ng kalikasan, mga bata, and some of them, I was surprised na you would never imagine that they would be among those who would initiate something like this. Mga tricycle driver, they are aware of the implications of climate change, that is going to affect them, it is going to endanger them, and that is the reason why they have this undertaking. Kaya nakakatuwa. I'm supporting this kawal ng kalikasan, and they're spreading not only in Parañaque but all over Metro Manila. They're branching out, and nakakatuwa. Because we have to realize that we are seeing here the combined effect of nature and man, the so-called anthropogenic implications of climate change, flooding, which is the act of man, and at the same time the act of God, which is nature in action. Kaya nakakatuwa po itong inyong initiative na ito, at ako yung papasalamat kay Chairman Tolentino. Hindi naman siya biktima ng flooding, pero mukhang na-aksidente siya. Natumba ng sarili niyang motorsiklo while he was tinkering with the motorcycle. Masyado yata malaki yung motorsiklo. Ang kanilang motorsiklo, mas malaki yung motorsiklo ni Kapitan Olivares na Harley Davidson. Buhay ko ba yun, Edwin? Wala na. Napaganda nun, yung kulay blue. O kaya yung motorsiklo ni Chairman Francis Tolentino. So marami po tayong dapat gawin. Yung climate change na ito ay napaka-masela na bagay. We have to be aware of this. This is a combination of mitigation and adaptation. I'm sure the MMDA are aware of these technical terms, and you are addressing this because you are part of the climate change effort. At ito pong mga bagay-bagay na ito, magkasama po tayo dito, yung sinasabi na organize and lead the community in times of flooding and other disaster-related incidents. That is very important, yung early warning system. This is something that we have been doing in the Red Cross. I've been a Red Cross governor for 20 years, so we're very aware of the early warning system, which failed to a certain extent during the Ondoy. And something that we must really address, because sometimes, most of the times, flooding is something that we cannot stop. But we can mitigate the effects of flooding by an early warning system. And I do hope that we will have a very effective early warning system, not only for Parañaque area, but for the entire Metro Manila area, including the Rizal and adjacent provinces, and Laguna and Cavite. Coordinate with all concerned agencies and community-based organizations for support and assistance. Of course, this is not only the responsibility of the MMDA. The Department of Public Works must come into the picture, provided that they can finally resolve this jurisdictional conflict that they're having, and at the same time, also resolve the budget. Alam niyo kasi, nung panahon ni Chairman Fernando, na-resolve nga na magiging jurisdiction ng MMDA ang flood control, pero yung budget hindi naman nilipad. Kaya ang laki ng problema ng MMDA. Binigay ang responsibility, pero yung budget ay natira, naiwan doon sa Department of Public Works. Develop flood preparedness procedure, warnings and protocol to guide the residents of the community in times of emergencies, such as alert mechanisms, and very happy that practically all the barangays are here, because the barangays are going to be the key elements in the early warning system. Your responsibilities, and I'm addressing the barangay officials now, are going to be very critical in the early warning system. And finally, conduct information campaign, advocacy activities, and trainings. I hope this is something that the MMDA can handle. I don't know, Undersecretary Cabanilla, whether this is something that is within the capability of the MMDA, but if it is not, there are so many other entities that are willing to help, particularly the LGUs. I think more than anything else, the LGU from the city level to the barangay level must accept this very important responsibility. And on the part of the members of Congress, of course, our responsibility is to make sure that the national budget addresses this issue in a very frontal and a very responsible way. This is what we can, Congressman Olivares and I, can assure all the stakeholders here, that we are going to be a watchdog as far as the budget is concerned. This is going to redefine the needs of the budget. The MMDA has assumed a bigger responsibility as far as flood control is concerned. But this responsibility must come with it the capability to undertake and accept that responsibility through budgetary support. So, on that note, we would like to assure the MMDA that we are going to make sure that to the best of our ability, we are going to protect your interests by making sure that your budget is responsive to your requirements. So, sa inyo po lahat, marami po salamat. Ito po ang inyong lingkod, Congressman Goles, muli, nagko-congratulate sa ating MMDA dito sa pagandang inisyatibo nila, at kinukongratulate ko rin ang mga namamahala ng PATS. Napakaganda po ang inyong lugar nito. Ayaw kong sabihin na ito ang pinakamagandang eskwelahan ngayon sa buong Parañaque na nandito ang mga Olivares family. So sabihin ko na lang, isa sa pinakamagandang eskwelahan sa buong Parañaque. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat po, Congressman Goles. Ngayon naman po, in behalf of the MMDA Chairman,